Whoa! You actually clicked on this video. Do you know how rad you are? How ahead of the curve you are just for watching this silly, I don't know, probably hour-long display of American fruit eau de vie? I watch the metrics on my channel. People watch the rum videos, they watch the scotch videos, they watch, even the Armagnac and Cognac videos. But they really do not watch the eau de vie videos, and especially the American eau de vie videos. So the fact that you are seeing this right now, good on you, because, as I said before, I feel like the category of American spirits with the most upside is probably brandy. Because America makes a ton of really, really good brut. And even within that category, though, it's eau de vie that I feel like might be the most underrated thing, because you don't have to age eau de vie. In fact, you shouldn't. You can throw it in stainless steel or glass or clay or something for a little while, but you don't really need to oak it for however long. So you can make it quickly. And even though pretty much everything here is 40 to 41% alcohol, that is like lower than I would prefer. That can change pretty quickly. I mean, it's not like these producers couldn't, up things, get more exciting, right? The proof of concept of this is a bottle I just reviewed recently, the Clear Creek Pear Brandy for the Aficionados group, bottled at 69% alcohol. Like, this is the proof that you can make American eau de vie at really, really high strengths, and then it can be spectacular if you do it. So, if these folks decide that there's a market for that, they can ramp up those proofs pretty darn quickly. So, anyways, American eau de vie can get very, very dangerous very, very quickly. And that's the only point I want to make here. Now, what I've done is I've got for myself a number of samples of different kinds of eau de vie from different American distilleries, and we're going to taste through them all and see how they do. Give them a score. There's a whole bunch of them, so I'm not going to try to do them in one video, not even two videos. I'm going to try to do these in three. And for this first one, though, I am going to keep it to what you could call the classics, right? Ain't nothing in eau de vie more classic than cherry and pear. So that's today's adventure. Now, I will say the distilleries here I'm going to be focusing on for this series, actually, are going to be Reinhold in Chicago. It's a hometown distillery, so I'm really rooting for them to do well. And Edelbrand. Edelbrand is in Missouri, and they are doing sort of classic Swiss style spirit, schnapps, whatever you want to call it. Never really had them before, but they seem cool. We'll see how it works out. All right, so let's get this started. First of all, with the Reinhold Cherry Eau de Vie. I just splashed myself. Here we go. Ooh, okay. So let me say, first off, this smells like cherry. But the fun part of eau de vie is something can smell, multiple things can smell like cherry and smell like cherry in radically different ways. This smells more like almost a black cherry kind of thing. So this isn't dessert cherry. This isn't like you pulled some maraschinos out and sniffed those. This is much more, black cherry. There's some stems kind of going on in this. The 40% is muting this, but I mean, it's lovely. It's clean. It's kind of dark. It's much more dark than you would expect a kind of cherry eau de vie to smell like. On the palate, it's a little bit lame. Let me try this again. It feels sort of thin. I mean, there's something there. There's certainly, we're getting some cherry elements. Again, black cherry more so than like dessert cherry. There's some stems. There's some metallic stuff going on, which I'm enjoying. Some like almost a flintiness to this. But to be honest, the proof feels like it's just kneecapping this really hard. It feels kind of thin for me. I mean, it's pleasant enough. But man, I mean, and I'm going to be saying this a lot in this video and the next couple of videos, how much better this would be if it were bottled at even 42%, 43% would be an enormous like improvement to this. At the moment, I'm going to give this 78 points out of 100. Nice nose, nice little nose. It's very fresh. But yeah, the palate, the finish is kind of short and shallow, and it just feels like thin. It feels like it's falling apart while I'm drinking it. Yeah. 78 points, which is really a little bit of a heartbreaker. Like, this is a hometown distillery. I'm rooting for these guys. Oh, man. Okay. Moving on to the Edelbrand Cherry. Now, Edelbrand, I don't know a whole lot about them. I think it's, like, there may be only like 2 or 3 people involved in making this stuff. But they're based out of Missouri, a little ways west of St. Louis. And I was enjoying the nose on the Rheinhall, but this has more going on. Okay, so we're getting cherry. It is more almost as dessert cherry this time, but it's not. It's dessert cherry meets flowers, dried flowers, but also fresh flowers, like fresh, I don't know, like daisies. Plus a little bit of like a that metallic thing I was talking about. That's here, and almost a there's a rooty thing going on. So almost like you dug up some tree roots and you tried to like make a tea out of them. That kind of thing. It's very fun. It feels very medicinal, but in like a good way. So let's try this on the palate. This bottle at 41%. I'm sorry. I'm lying. The Edelbrand pear, which we're going to get to in a little bit, is bottled at 41%. This is still 40. We'd love to see it higher, but even so, this is definitely giving me more than the Rheinhall. Oh yeah, there's just like a fresh topsoil element to this. Right kind of at the forefront of the flavor notes, which is really winning me over. So yeah, eau de vie of topsoil. I know that doesn't sound appealing, but it really works well here. The cherry elements, it's black cherry, it's dessert cherry, it's all different kinds of cherries. Even a kind of sour cherry element. Those are kind of playing around the outside and a little bit of halo. The core of this is really that kind of grungy, you know, dirt-driven, topsoil-driven, character. Ooh, and again, there's a lot of flowers in this, and there's there's a metallic slash mineral quality to this. A little bit of a like a sandstone kind of element to this. It's lovely. I really, really, really wish they would bottle it at higher than 40%. But there we go. I'm gonna give this. It's gonna get into the 80s. I don't know how deep into the 80s I can get. Try this one more time. Yeah, it's good enough for an 82. I'm going to give this 82 points out of 100. And I imagine if this were pushing just a little bit higher in strength, it would be climbing, at least 2 or 3 points higher than that. This feels not like the Reinhold feels like it was not well made, but this feels really well made. So there's that. Okay, moving on to the pear eau de vies now. We're going to start with the St. George. St. George, an old, rather famous distillery based in California. I think this is the first offering we're trying from them. Okay, St. George pear eau de vie. Here we go. I mean, it smells like pear. It's a very clean pear. So I'm not getting a lot of like metallic elements or floral elements. It really just smells like, okay, so it smells like dessert pear, but also a little bit of like a blueberry, blackberry kind of element going on here. And that's most of what I'm getting. So pear right in the center, and then a little bit of like, mixed berries, blueberries and blackberries mainly. It's nice. I should really have like a button here I can push that will just, play the recording and me saying this should really be bottled at higher than 40%. But I'm just going to say it. This really should be bottled at higher than 40%. Here we go. On the palate. Yeah, it's nice. Again, it's very clean. It's a very kind of straightforward, punchy pear style. So I'm getting a lot of straightforward, just Perry Williams pear kinds of notes. A little bit of blueberry playing on the outskirts of that flavor profile. Finish is actually decent. It actually holds on for a little bit. It still feels a hair bit thin, which again is the bottling strength. And now that on the palate there is a little bit of that floral thing. There's a little bit of dried flowers going on. So it's really, pear and little blueberry, dried flowers, and decent finish. So I'm going to give this an 81 out of 100. So at this point, it's the Edelbrand Cherry that's winning. All right, let's move on to pear brandy number 2. I have like 5 of these. I don't know why I ended up with so many more pear brandies than cherry, but there we go. All right, this is the Caprock, who are in Colorado, if I remember correctly. Caprock pear eau de vie. Also bottled at 40%. Here we go. Ooh. Hold on. So much more dessert pear driven than the previous bottle. Yeah, this Caprock really feels like you buy a pear from the grocery store, and then you forget about it for like a week and a half, and then you remember and you're like, oh my god, I need to eat this. But it's kind of reached that optimal, slightly overripe kind of character. That's what this smells like. So it's slightly overripe, just reaching funkiness kind of pear territory. Maybe a little bit of stemminess going on here, but it's also very clean. Yeah, good nose. Straightforward nose, not a lot of corners and details to it, but it's nice. On the palate. Here we go. Okay. So on the palate, this brings out a white pepper component along with the overripe dessert pear thing, which I'm really enjoying. Yeah, that's pretty righteous. There's a little bit of fennel going on in there, along with the white pepper and dessert pear. And it just feels a little bit more substantial than the previous one from the St. George. Let me try the St. George one more time. Yeah, most definitely. Despite the fact that the Caprock is bottled at the same strength, it's just much more dominant and compelling on the palate. Yeah, it's really good. I'm going to give that an 83 out of 100. Good, strong effort by Caprock. And now I'm really hoping I have more from them because I'm really sort of enjoying this. It should be bottled at higher than 40%. I really wish it would be, but good stuff. Good stuff as it stands. All right, moving on to the Peach Street. I've already reviewed the aged version of Peach Street's pear brandy, but now we get to try the unaged version. Ooh. Which has a little bit of, what is that? Okay, so again, it smells like pear, but it's a very different variation on pear. It's almost like this is gonna sound crazy. My first thought goes to like, the Capri Sun, the little silvery juice bags thing. That's kind of my first thought. It smells like a pear juice Capri Sun or something like that. Yeah, there's like a processed juice quality to the nose here, but nice. Like pear juice, a little bit of metallic element, some dried flower, lightly herbaceous, almost like a kind of basil thing happening. Yeah, let's give this a shot on the palate. That didn't go how I thought it would. So based on the nose, I was expecting this to be like super duper fruity, and it really isn't though. Like it's actually quite austere. There's very much like a bitter unripe pear thing, and a white pepper thing, and like a medicinal herbal thing. So like, I don't know, used bandages meets like Tylenol kind of thing. But it holds really, really well. Um, I don't like it as much as the previous one, but this is really well made, actually. Nice little effort here by Peach Street. Um, yeah, this is right around that same 82 mark as the Edelbrand Cherry. It's a really, really nice pear brandy. It's a little bit more austere and difficult on the palate than the Caprock is. Yeah, but I'm still really impressed by the depth and the length that the Pear Street Street is bringing here. Do I wish it were bottled at higher than 40%? Yes, I do. All right, let's move on. Reinhold. Pear brandy. Let's see what we got on the on the nose. Ooh. So this is doing a much more like funky kind of pear thing. So like, ooh. So it's almost like your pear had gone past being like a little bit overripe and was just starting to get a little stinky. Yeah, that's kind of the main thing I'm getting here. There's a little bit of like pear skin, pear stem going on here. But really the impression is just like slightly stanky fruit. But in like a nice way that's appealing. All right, here we go on the palate. Dang. Okay, so on first impression, this is kind of has the same problem as the Reinhold Cherry, which is just the finish falls off a cliff on first contact. It's nice, and then it's gone. I was really enjoying the kind of rotten pear meets flowers thing that this was doing. And then it's just kind of like disappeared on me. Like the finish is holding a little bit on the front of my mouth. It's gotten kind of metallic and bitter in a way I'm not super duper excited about. But it's not like it hasn't it certainly hasn't gone past like the very, very front of my mouth, and the complexity is not super duper impressive. Yeah, no, it's. And I was really rooting for these guys. I was really rooting for Reinhold to step up and do something awesome because, like, they're from Chicago, right? And I have to root for these guys. But for me, I would drink this, if offered, but it's a 77 point spirit for me. Like, yeah, that's where I am. 77 points for Reinhold Pear Brandy. And I'm kind of bummed out about that. Let's see if the Edelbrand Pear Vinars can take us home. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Okay, that's actually... I mean, there's a... There's a limitation on these noses, which is to say they all kind of smell like pear, but some of them are delivering more like layers and levels to that peariness than others, and this is kind of getting there. So I'm getting, again, pear, but it's like bitter pear. It's there's a little bit of a ripeness, but it's also like pear you just pulled off a grocery shelf and it's like a day away from being ripe. It's a little bit of a bitterness. Stems, skins, pear core. It's very vivid. It's just a very... I think vividness is maybe like the defining characteristic of these folks' stuff. Some light dried flowers happening. A little bit of a, not quite a minerality, like a very like iron ore that hasn't really been broken down and purified yet. Like just like you dug some iron rich rock out of the ground. That's kind of what this smells like, along with the pear. Good nose. Let's see what we got. Ooh. So this is bottled at 41%. And I'm not sure if it's that extra 1% that is doing this, but man, this has a finish that just lasts and lasts and lasts. Let me try this again. Oh yeah. So on initial contact, it isn't that exciting. There's again, this mixture of almost like ripe pears with underripe pears, the bitterness, skin, stems. But then the finish just hangs with lots of white pepper. There's some herbaceousness. There's some metallic, minerally elements. And it just hangs and hangs and hangs. That's really good. This is righteous. I'm really enjoying this. I don't even know who these people are. But Edelbrand is now like on my radar. Would it be better if it were bottled a little bit stronger? Yes, absolutely. But this is really solid. I'm kind of caught between an 84 and an 85, so I'm going to give this an 84 plus. But yeah, I'm actually really impressed with this. So that's it for round one. The Reinhold Cherry gets a 78. Kind of a disappointment. The Edelbrand Cherry gets an 82. St. George Pear, 81. I was actually really expecting more from this. Caprock Pear, 83 points. I I'm actually really impressed with this one. Should be higher strength, but, you know. Peach Street, 82. Reinhold Pear really feels like a whiff to me, like 77 points. And Edelbrand Pear Brandy, 84 plus. And that's it for round one of the, I don't know what to call it, the American Eau de Vie off. Thanks for watching and cheers.